Alright, so today we're going to talk about something that's been flooded on the news for the past week. And I'm just going to share my thoughts on it. So, we all know what happened. We had a black man, he got arrested, he was on the ground, knee on his face or his neck, unconsciousness, and he died. It's obviously a very serious thing, and the police officer who did it should be, well, he's in jail now there was a conviction, right? But I think this speaks to an even larger problem of a problem in policing. A lot of times police officers get complaints, whether they may be rude. They're doing their job, but they're rude maybe. Maybe they're a little bit rough. And if you make a complaint, what happens? Nothing. This one officer that murdered this black man, he had 18 complaints. That's a lot of complaints right there. And the thing is, you can't fire cops. The only way a cop gets fired is if he's beating someone within an inch of his life, or if he shoots someone. That's about it. Okay, so why did the cop do it? Well, I think this is a common fact that police officers, nurses, doctors, after long hours on the job, they suffer from empathy fatigue. Where if you're a cop, you see a lot of stuff. You see people getting shot, people dying, people all strung out on meth, and you maybe lack a bit of empathy. Now, I think to fix this, maybe you give police officers additional training. Psychologists and psychiatrists, they receive additional training. Police officers don't. I mean, what? They only get 6-month training? That's not a lot. And that stuff weighs on you. As a consequence of the blowback from what happened, of course, we have Black Lives Matter. They're making their presence known again, which is a good thing. That's fine. I like a peaceful protest. But we have riots, we have looting, we have streets lit on fire, business windows being smashed, and people being attacked on the street. What would you do if you were, I don't know, Steve the electrician down the street? You know, who's had this business for, generations. I'll wager that he doesn't have insurance that covers riots. It's not gonna happen. His business is ruined. It doesn't help when the media, like CNN, MSNBC, they're siding with the looters. CNN even said, the looting and the riots, I'm paraphrasing, it's the language of the unheard. What the fuck does that even mean? You're supporting riots? Looting? There's videos of people handing bricks to black people. And then they're throwing those bricks. You're making them look bad. So I understand Black Lives Matter is important, I get it. But we have to talk about Antifa. We have to talk about these radical groups. They're making black people look bad. They're giving them bricks. Now, what does that do to the black brand, exactly? What does that do to the BLM brand? It makes them look violent. It makes them look bad. And there are a lot of members in BLM that are engaging in looting and rioting. That has to be called out. It really does. And I think the media, back to CNN, they're siding with the looters and the rioters because they're hedging their bets. Because CNN recently there was a riot in front of CNN. And like I said, they're hedging their bets. Because if they go against them, if you go against the narrative, they're coming for you. That's what's gonna happen. So how are politicians reacting? What about Bill de Blasio? Well, his daughter was arrested, his deranged, rioting daughter. They always have these crazy eyes. Why do they have the same eyes every time? Always crazy eyes. They're crazy people. They're hedging their bets too. They're pandering. They're vote buying. They don't care about black people. They don't care about Black Lives Matter. They don't care about you. They don't care about your shop. Just months ago, they were saying, social distance, physical distancing, don't go outside, don't do that. There was a protest about people wanting to open up the economy. You're gonna kill Granny, they said. You're gonna make people sick, how dare you, that's selfish. People are dying, people can't go to work, and they're being locked up. What about corporations? How are corporations reacting? As you can tell, they're pandering too. And it's pathetic. Corporations like Nike, Burger King even. It's pathetic. You have Nike pandering to the Black Lives Matter movement, to social justice causes, but come on. In Bangladesh, have you seen their working conditions? Slave labor? Child labor? In a sense of poetic justice, Nike gets their store lit on fire because people gotta get their Air Jordans, people gotta get their shoes. What does that do for the black brand? You see people coming out stealing shoes. Corporations don't care about you. Burger King doesn't care about you. And you're not on the cusp of being a revolutionary Shang Shivara when you have the same political ideology as Burger King. Come on. So right now, what should you be doing? You have riots. I think you should hedge your bets too. I think you should be prepared. Have a bug out bag. Have a plan with your community. What do you have planned? Because the rioting, eventually, it'll come to you. I know, I get it. The celebrities are also pandering too, but come on. They're just a bunch of bourgeois pricks. Because they're gonna come to their gates too. They're the 1%. The police are not gonna protect you because it's the police. Their job is to protect government buildings. In times of peace and civility, they'll take your call, they'll protect you. So you have to have a plan. So where do we go from here? Well, last week 2 things happened that are striking, I would say. One, we had the iconic image of Arby's being burnt to the ground. But on the same day, SpaceX launched the Falcon 9 rocket containing astronauts into space. We engage human beings at an individual level. We consolidate our differences and we come together and we innovate. We create things. We improve. We progress. You know what happens when we do that? We create rockets. We go to space. When you look down, you look at identity politics, tribalism. But when we look up, see, that's when humans are at our best. When we're working together, when we're trying to figure out problems, putting aside our differences. That's what happens. We look up, we transcend ourselves. And we explore the cosmos and all of its grandeur and beauty.
Look, we don't hate black people. We're not racist, we're not sexist. We're not any of that stuff. We're just 2 people here that care about this. What we don't agree with, however, is the rioting. We don't move forward with that. We don't progress. We don't come up with solutions. Starting buildings on fire, burning cars, hurting people, killing people in a riot, we would completely abolish police officers. And where would that get us? That would get us nowhere. Because if we had no police, in less than 3 hours, the entire world, or really the entire US, Canada, and everywhere, would just be senseless murder, corruption, hatred, burning buildings, fire. In less than a day, all cities everywhere would be burning. We would literally have to start over as a society, start over everywhere. We can't just abolish police, that's not the answer. We can't riot, that's not the answer. Like he said, we have to pull together, work together, and figure this out together. Put our differences aside.
Aye, aye, Captain.